Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tusk Talk with Ty Postgame live show. Boy, it just feels like deja vu once again. How many times have I said that? How many times have I said this just feels like deja vu? Because that's what we got here. Arkansas, I would say finds a way to lose this game, but we all know how they lost this game. This defense is pure, unfiltered shit. This defense, it doesn't matter who's on the sidelines. It's bad. It's so bad. I really don't think they could stop a high school. I don't think they could stop Fayetteville High. I don't think they could stop that offense. And listen, I know they're up against it. I get it. You know, they fired their staff and everything, but dude, they were they were bad before that. Before those guys were all fired. It is abysmal. I hate it for the offense. Taylor Green, he missed a couple of reads. That what was that, fourth down, wide open, two wide open players. But I mean, we've gone over why that happens. If you guys have listened to this show long enough, we've talked about that. As soon as he gets pressure in his face and he's staying in the pocket, that's either going to result in a sack, a turnover, or I don't know, a scramble for half a yard. I mean, when there's pressure, his numbers, it's in the numbers, and you can see it on tape. You can see it when you watch him play live. He's terrible under pressure when he stays in the pocket. He just is. Or he drops back for negative 20 yards and takes a sack. He's got to be quicker. But you can't put this on the offense. You can't put it on the Taylor Green, missing some open receivers. You can't put it on that. Today it is absolutely, and just like, I mean, most games it's either last-second fumbles by the offense, but it's because your defense puts so much damn pressure on your offense. If you go a single series, if you go 3 and out, you are in deep shit. Arkansas's offense. If they go 3 and out, you're going to give up 6. If they don't finish a drive, you're going to give up 6 every time your defense takes the field. Listen, I didn't expect it to be better. I really didn't. It did sound like when Petrino took over, he was popping off, man. He said it. He was like, we're going to get back to the fundamentals. We're going to get back to tackling, and we're going to learn to get in our stance correctly. I mean, the basics, right? And then you're thinking, okay, they've got the bye week. I didn't expect, and of course that was the week before last, the bye week, but I didn't expect like a dramatic turnaround. It's just more of the same. And we do have a poll up. We have a poll up. Go take the poll and make sure you like, share. Please hit the like button and share the video or the live stream here. Is Petrino still in the running for Arkansas head coach? 69% of you, 68% of you say yes. 68% of you say yes. So go take that poll. You guys tell me. I'm gonna get to your comments here in just a second. Hero Blake says no turnovers today. Yeah. But then you traded in the penalties for the turnovers for really stupid penalties. I mean, 9 penalties for 71 yards at home? To me, that's just, I don't know, man. When you get the further north of about 50 yards at home of penalties, to me that's like, all right, now we're starting to get into the red here. And they went 9 for 71. That's terrible. And a couple of them were very, damaging. Hell, several of those penalties were very damaging. Again, I appreciate everyone for being here. I will say this. I mean, I had people trying to convince me that A&M's defense is elite. Oh, look what they did here and there. No, dude, their defense is garbage. Their defense is not good. And I'm telling you, it's the same kind of feeling you had with, like, Tennessee's defense, Ole Miss's defense. Some of these teams are getting really exposed. I do love that Arkansas is a part of that's exposing these defenses. If only they could just win games. If only Taylor Green wouldn't fall backwards for negative 500 yards. If only the defense could get a 3-and-out, or I don't know. Here's something crazy. What about a takeaway? What about like a fumble recovery? Or a pick, one that's not necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. Beggars can't be choosers. We know they had the interception. Was that against? Was that Tennessee or no Memphis? Maybe it was a deflected pass and it just wound up in the hands of one of the safeties. It was and he's just kind of standing there like, oh shit, I got the ball in my hand. How did this happen? That never happens to us. It was off a deflected pass. Can we get anyone jumping routes? Can we not play so far off the ball sometimes? Like, can you not give up these open, no one within 15 yards of you passes, downfield? Once again, Arkansas outgains Texas A&M, 527 total yards of offense to 499. All offense, shit defense. All offense, shit defense. I don't know. They're about to get into the tougher part of their schedule in terms of defense. Like, they're going to actually play some pretty decent defensive teams, but are not as good on offense. Auburn comes to mind. Mississippi State's like a toss-up. I'm not sure what to expect there when they play them. Of course, that one is in Fayetteville. Again, I do appreciate everyone. Make sure you retweet the Tusk Talk Twitter. Go follow it. I don't know. Subscribe to it. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. We got some super chats. Oh, wow. We got several. Hold on. How do you pull up? There we go. Okay. We got Prisha Armstrong. What's up, Mrs. Armstrong? Damn it to hell. I know, right? I mean, it's just like, it's more of this. It's more of this. Boss Hog says, as Hog fans, what are we to do? I don't know. I don't know, like, just I always say when the year's tanked, or when you have a pretty good feeling the year's tanked, and I'm not saying just let go of the rope as fans. I mean, I get it if you do. I'm not saying that. But you know what? I'm going to support the players. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hope, Rhodes a couple of weeks ago was a first-round prospect. Now I'm not even sure he's in the top 10 defensive end list. But, I hope that he climbs. I hope these guys make some money outside of NIL. I mean, moving forward in their careers. That's what I'm going to hope for. And then, maybe, I don't know, just embrace the roller coaster ride of the season you're going to have. I do think Arkansas is going to find a way to sneak some wins in. I just don't. It's really hard to forecast where. Maybe it's not plural. Maybe it's just one win. But I feel like they've got it in them. You just got to hang on tight, man. Just got to hang on tight. I don't know. Just be thankful basketball season's almost here. Garrett Lampkin says, I'd rather go Christmas shopping on December 24th in a half, than watch another second of our defense. That's Garrett Lampkin's. Well said. Appreciate the super chats. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Again, make sure you take the poll. If Franklin is not in the phone, Hunter is wrong, says Scott Wiley. I'm seeing some new names. I hope you guys have hit the subscribe button. I'm going to give them credit, though. I think where everyone is so angry about this game, and I know we confused someone a couple of weekends ago when we talked about moral victories. I know I confused, but there is one here, like there have been since Petrino's taken over. This team isn't letting go of the rope. They're hanging in there. They're doing everything they can. I mean, the offense, at least. I don't know. I can't speak for the defense. I really can't. Like, my God. I've never seen, my cousin, shout out to my cousin Corey. I don't know if he's in chat. He texted me and he said they push tackle. God dang, if that doesn't hit the nail on the head, I don't know what does. They push tackle. It's embarrassing to watch. And I know we hit the defense over the head every week, I get it. Like, we're curb stomping our defense every week. Every time I'm on this microphone and we're talking about the Razorbacks, but you just can't help it. I mean, they just cannot get off the field. They can't force turnovers. They can't disrupt the timing between the quarterback and his receivers. They can't stop anybody. There's always someone running wide open. It's just more of the same. And again, nobody was expecting a dramatic turnaround. Nobody was expecting Arkansas to. I mean, if anything, again, we talked about it. Why I thought they would get curb stomped by Tennessee. It's because they fired that staff. And yet they did get some stops in the second half. But today it was just more of just showing you how bad the Arkansas defense really is. Hey, Woo Pig Dustino, I see you quote tweeting the stream. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I don't know. I was really hoping that back to the basics with Petrino, I was really hoping we'd get something out of that. But they do look as bad, if not worse. And I guess, to be fair, that is exactly what you expect when you fire an entire defensive staff. But still, it's just I'll tell you this much. Nobody on that staff better be retained. Nobody. I don't want to see, because Petrino maybe likes a couple of them. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see this staff back. I'm sorry, okay? Defense is just, man. What more can you say? You really can't. We get it, right? Again, for everyone just now joining, make sure you take the poll. Is Petrino still in the running for Arkansas head coach? We got a bunch of votes. Keep bringing them in. Consider joining Patreon. Consider joining the Tusk Talk Patreon. We've actually had several new people join. And come be a part of it, man. Crash Out says with the super chat, with the $4.99 super chat, he says, just give it to Bobby and hire a good defense coordinator. Problem solved. He can't fix this shitty defense. Nobody can. Listen, at the end of the day, too, this is the thing that we have to realize, right? This is the thing we have to realize. And they say this roster, I just don't know how much I buy this. They say the roster is worth, it's like $16.5 million. And I'm just like, did they give it all to like Mike Washington and the tight ends? And Omega Blake, by the way, good Lord, he's the yak master. He is the yak master, Omega Blake is. That dude does not, he just keeps his feet moving after he catches the ball. I love watching it. I mean, I do get excited watching the offense. Green was finding open receivers. It's funny, we always point out the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 that he might miss. Sometimes more. But then we don't talk about some of those other really good finds and how he extends the play on third down. But my God, if that's true that this is a $16 million roster, if that's true, where the hell did it go? Robinson, maybe? The Georgia Tech left tackle who had his hands full today, by the way. I can't wait to look at the pressure sheet tomorrow. I mean, Amarian Harris getting smoked. I mean, everybody was just struggling up front. I don't know where this money went. I guess some of the receivers, but again, none of these guys were like high priority targets for other schools. I mean, a couple of them were. Omega Blake certainly was. Got more super chats to read. Woo Pig Dustino, who not only quote tweeted the show, he's also donating $2. I see you. Coaching search is only for a quality DC now. So Dustin believes that Arkansas has their guy. I can't tell you how much more right I'm we've been calling this, dude. You've got Dan Mullen, who's publicly now calling this, he's 0.0 interested in this job, right? Did Florida won today, right? Florida won today. Unless I saw that, I haven't even looked at the scoring update. I probably should do that before I start. Florida won. They beat Mississippi State 23-21. And Auburn is currently losing to Mizzou, and they're almost at halftime. 55 seconds till halftime, 10-7. So I don't know, man. I feel like the clouds are just we're starting to see clearly. it is looking more and more likely Petrino is going to be a key candidate. Who knows? I know there's some people like Franklin. People are so split down the middle on Franklin. I don't know how I feel about that. Chris Sullivan, 567, says, I really can't wait for transfer portal season and a serious upgrade to defense. So I guess Chris is all in on Petrino too. Would any other SEC team hire Petrino? I don't think so, says Solo. You know what? It's kind of hard to argue with that. I don't know, right? It just kind of depends on how this season unfolds. If he does find a way to win 3 or 4 games, I think that he probably would. I think he probably would be a candidate somewhere. I don't know where. I guess, again, it would matter on the SEC job. I don't think Auburn would. I don't think Florida would. Penn State, even though that's out of conference, they wouldn't do it. Virginia Tech? No. You might be right. I don't know. Number 6 offense in the country by yards in 2 and 5, says King Command. I don't know that I've ever heard of that, Command. I don't know that I've ever heard of having this kind of production on offense and seeing what we're seeing week to week, other than the Notre Dame game, right? And still only have 2 wins on the year. And that does say something about your schedule. That says something about your strength of schedule for sure. But, man, all your defense needs is just a little bit more elbow grease or something. I don't know. And then, of course, it helps if your offense doesn't fumble the ball. Ty, if you fire Petrino, you have to not only upgrade the D, you have to replace 500-yard offense. Well, and again, Tim, this is the exact thing that and you're right. This is the exact thing I pointed out. God bless. Go find my video. I'll link it. This is the very thing I mentioned in that video that I made before the season started. If the defense shits the bed and the offense continues to do what it did last year and builds on what it did, which it has certainly done that, and you swing and miss, and currently I think you did swing and miss on Dan Mullen. I don't think that's happening. I don't think the Dan Mullen thing is happening. I don't. He could be trolling, and I know he's got a history of it. We've pointed that out, but I'm not reading that, man. So then the question is you think of some of these other group of 5 hires, then why not, if you're looking at a group of 5 hire, then why not just keep Petrino and just get an upgrade on defense? I see that argument, and it's hard to argue with that. It's hard to counter that. Again, make sure you guys like the stream, share the content. Sharing is caring. Hit the subscribe button if you're new here. James Swope, what's up? That's a legendary status member right there. He says, Ty, I know what's wrong with the defense. It ain't got no gas in it. Pretty sure King Command is also, I think he's still legendary status, so shout out to him. Tim Neal, the co-host, he's $8. He's a yellow name in Discord. Yeah, you guys aren't wrong. You got to make a change. If you were to fire or walk away from Petrino with the kind of numbers that you're producing right now, dude, you better get someone with some firepower. I don't know. Petrino was built for the transfer portal era. This is a good point. He knows how to get his guys. Again, that's from Woo Pig Destino. I don't think you're wrong. And I think the question is how much – I think there's some conflicting reporting about how much support Bobby Petrino would get from boosters. I think we have a little bit it seems like there's some of that out there where there's some boosters that may not like Bobby. And I can tell you guys, as I've mentioned here before, Bobby did rub some people the wrong way, but I've always heard that as people inside the football program. King Bobby Petrino says people still blaming Bobby even though our offense put 42 points. Yeah, I don't know how you blame Bobby. I mean, I think their game plan was great. They're showing fight in the second half. Remember, that was something we were complaining about. They're showing fight in the second half. They're not letting go of the rope, even though our defense never had their hands on the rope to begin with. Garbage-ass defense, dude. I'm sorry. That defense it's just so embarrassing to watch. That out there on the field is so embarrassing. Again, I understand the circumstances as they are, but my God, they weren't much better when you had that staff here on defense. If Petrino gets Muschamp out that analyst chair, or gets Arnett, you have my attention. Yeah, I mean, it is going to depend on who he hires. And, again, the financial support. It's got to be there, right? It's got to be there. Bates says none of this really matters if we still have Hunter and we don't have a football. And we don't have a football-only GM. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, maybe not. Again, Hunter signed on the dotted line for Petrino to be the offense coordinator. We just don't know Hunter's fate. We don't know Hunter's fate. Back to the game. I mean, we feel like we do. Back to the game here. Arkansas's offense just continues to – they show out. And again, I know A&M's defense is nothing special. It's not. But this did feel like a game Arkansas could win, even with how trashy that defense has been, even with how bad they've been on that side of the ball. It felt like they could win. For the very reason, they outgained these guys, despite being just 40% on third down. Certainly some weaknesses there, and you look back on the third quarter, or the first and third quarter. You scored just 3 points. You got off to kind of a slow start, 3 points, but then you scored 17 points. You scored 20 points in the first half, 22 in the second. That should be good enough to beat most teams if you have just an average defense, right? If you just have even an average defense that maybe is only good at one thing. Maybe they're good at getting pressure to the quarterback and maybe getting 2-3 sacks a game. Or maybe they just completely stop the run. Unfortunately, this defense can do neither. Look at A&M on offense. Marcel Reed was off to a really good start. I think at one point he had hit 9 straight completions. He was 23 of 32 for 280. He looked good. He looked good. He's not quite the athlete that Green is, but he's a little bit more polished as a passing quarterback to a degree. I think he's a little bit more polished. We don't see him. Of course, it helps when you have a clean pocket. It helps when you have no pressure. It helps when you have a really good offensive line. And it helps when you're going up against you talk about a blue light special offensive line like Petrino or Pittman had mentioned before about his offensive line. You got a barely blue light special on on the defensive line. So, when you're up against that, it's easy to look good, right, as a quarterback. But he looked more polished. I would say today he looked more polished as a passing quarterback. 23 of 32, 280 through the air, 3 touchdowns. He also had 55 yards rushing. So he's over 300 total yards. Reuben Owens, you know what? They did slow him down a little bit, but they still ended up with 3 rushing touchdowns between Owens and Marcel Reed. Reuben Owens would end up with 14 carries, 69 yards. They really started to clamp him down a little bit in the second half. He ends up with just south of 5 yards per carry. His longest rush from the line of scrimmage, and we realized they had a hurt running back for today, but his longest rush from the line of scrimmage was 14 yards. E.J. Smith, 7 carries, 52 yards. He had 7 yards per carry. They ran the ball as a team, A&M did, 35 times for 217 yards. That's 6.2 yards per carry. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised it wasn't for 280, if I'm being real. Surprised this wasn't 7.5, 8 yards per carry as a team. But 6.2 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. Do you guys recognize that name, Ashton Bethel Roman? You guys remember him? He was committed to Arkansas for a little while back. I think he was class of 24. He had 4 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, I mean they did, listen, 23 grabs from the receiving core, 280 yards. They had 9 different receivers touch the ball. 9 different players touch the ball through the air. On defense, they ended up with 4 sacks, 8 TFLs. I kind of wonder again when these numbers straighten out tomorrow when we look at PFF. Kind of thought 8 sounds about right. I try to keep track of them when I'm watching, and then I'm chatting in Discord, and then I'm in 4 other group text message or group messages. It's hard to put the phone down sometimes, and I'm trying to take notes and everything. But 8 sounds about right, and it's just the offensive line just got overwhelmed there several times. They did keep Cassius Howell, who was a potential first-round draft pick. Like, he was only in on 1 sack, and it was part, he got part of it, right? He didn't really, but he still got, it looked like he got several pressures. He was still a problem without actually sacking Green. And again, they had just 499. I say just. They had 499 yards of offense. Arkansas, Omega Blake is, man, he is just so close to being like he is an all conference caliber receiver. That's what he is. Okay, whether that's third, second, or first, I think he's probably floating around third team, all SEC. That's kind of that's the caliber receiver he is, and he's showing that. He had 7 catches for 118 yards and a touchdown with a 36-yarder with his longest. Rohan Jones, again, the tight end's not getting a ton of targets and still having a pretty big impact on this game. Rohan Jones had 2 catches, 52 yards. And how about Platt's little impressive, that little 4-yard touchdown? What a throw and what a catch by Jaden Platt. I wish the tight ends were a little bit more involved. Green just seems to struggle. He just doesn't hit that underneath throw real well. And he doesn't target those guys a whole lot, which kind of explains the numbers from a year ago. But yet these tight ends are having a bigger impact than those guys did last year at any point. C.J. Brown, 5 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown. On the ground, Mike Washington was unstoppable. Unstoppable. 16 carries. Should have had probably 24, but hard to complain when he put up 42 points, right? But he had no touch. He had no tutties. He didn't score once. 16 carries, 147 yards. That's 9.2 yards per carry. Taylon Green, 12 carries, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's 7 yards a carry. And then Braylon Russell, just 4 carries. Russell with just 4 carries for 36 yards. What happens is Arkansas is always they're having to fight from behind. They're always trailing. And so that really, we've already complained about Russell not getting the ball enough. But then when you start, when you're always down 10 or however many points, double digits, and we know Petrino's he's gonna find ways to get things going, and sometimes that means he's gonna use just one back, and he's gonna use his quarterback to do whatever he needs to do to make things happen. Right? Green goes 19 of 32, 256 yards through the air with 3 touchdowns through the air, but with 5 total scores. Remember what we said coming into this year? He's got to score more he can't just be a one-dimensional. Don't get me wrong. You're going to take touchdowns however you get them, whether they're running or passing. But, man, it sure is good to mix in a little passing, and he did that. Didn't throw for 300, right? Threw for close to 260 off 32 attempts, completing 19 of them. No turnovers, though, and then 5 total touchdowns. You win this game, he might be National Player of the Week. 85 total yards rushing. So, I mean, he had over 300 total yards of offense and 5 touchdowns against the number 4 team in the country. I think his draft stock probably is going to go up a little bit this week. Again, something else we're going to have to look at. But once again, the offense leaves it all out on the field, and the defense just never got off the bus. I just can't tell you how I've just never seen this kind of like elite offensive play. Okay, now look, they're going to get hit in the mouth by one of these teams. Even though Auburn is not that great, like Auburn can hit you in the mouth on defense. Hell, Mississippi State can, right? They're going to get punched in the mouth. But what we have seen Arkansas do when their offense gets off to a little bit of a slow start, or they get a couple 3-and-outs, or they turn the ball over and all of a sudden they're down, double digits, we see them fight back. So they're going to need to do that, obviously. I don't know. It'll be, listen, a bowl game is not happening. I'm sorry. I'm not subscribing to that thought. I don't think this team comes even close to a bowl game. Right now, I'm at like maybe 1 or 2 wins. I don't know what that means for Petrino. I really don't. I don't know if that means that look, you're losing close games, right? You lost 34-31 to Tennessee at Tennessee, and then you lost at home. And these are 2 ranked opponents, right? Number 12 and number 4. And you lost them both. They're moral victories because they were close losses, And under the set of circumstances, it does make it a little impressive, right? Under the set of circumstances that they're under, we got to go into detail. Apparently, we have one member in our audience he's confused. He doesn't know what a moral victory is. Hell, you could look at the scoreboard and call these moral victories. But Auburn and Mississippi State are the only two non-ranked opponents you have left. Okay? LSU, who's going to drop out of the top 10. Texas may not be ranked. I don't know. To be honest with you, I think 21 is too high where they're at right now. You're going to have number 16 Mizzou come to town. If you could play like this on offense and the defense, maybe they get something kind of figured out. Maybe they figure out how to take the ball away to win a turnover battle. Maybe, they could win. I could see them winning 3 games. I could see them getting to a 5 total win record. But that's just such a big ask for this defense. I mean, really, until the defense shows me, and I realize they only gave up 34 to Tennessee, who's a team that could score 50. But some of that had to do with Arkansas's offense staying on the field, It's kind of a similar take to what happened in 24 when they had several really long drives, that opening drive that went for like 8.5 or 9 minutes. Kind of a similar deal where the offense and the defense they got Tennessee's offense off the field a couple times in the second half. And let's not act like the offense has been all roses. I mean, they have had opportunities this year where the ball's back in their hand, where the defense gets them the ball, and they still can't do anything with it in the second half. But that was under Pittman. I'm liking what I'm seeing under Petrino. They are fighting back. Doesn't look like the second half thing is, knock on wood for the love of God, doesn't look like the second half thing is going to hinder them for much longer. We'll see what they do against Auburn, and we'll see how they handle them, and then Mississippi State. And then from there on, you got a very strange LSU team whose offense they've got some issues. Texas, kind of the same deal. Missouri feels like the best opponent you have left on your schedule. Feels like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Arky 56. At least we didn't fumble the ball. Yeah, we talked about that. Hey, Arky 56. You owe me a Subway franchise, by the way. We probably bet something on this game, didn't we? Did we bet something on this game, Dad? I thought we did. What's up, Hoyt? How you doing, man? Sup, Ty? At least we didn't turn the ball over. Yeah, a lot of you guys. Yeah, you guys are right. I am Prutrino says if Talon would just run and not wait. Yeah, I agree with that. He would have taken control of this game, given Texas A&M's defense. And by the run, I mean run towards their end zone, not our own. Yeah, right. I mean, he panics. He turns. He always tries to flip, and then he finds himself in deep shit, and he gets sacked. And it really, again, it's not all roses with this offense. Green still makes some very bonehead mistakes, especially when he's pressured. His pressure number, guys, it is atrocious. It's one of the worst under pressure numbers, I think, in probably all the SEC. He completes just 32% of his throws when he's under pressure. 3 touchdowns, 2 picks on the year when under pressure. The crazy part is his clean pocket percentage is 71. He has a clean pocket 71% of his snaps. Now, we'll see if those numbers drop according to PFF. And again, that's not their grades, right? That's just the drop back total and his clean pocket percentage total. How often is he pressured? 11 touchdowns, 3 picks coming into this game with a 71% kept clean pocket number. It's pretty good. I mean, that's good. I wish he was better under pressure because he's really it's bad. Crash Out says, and this is a super chat for $4.99. Well, we knew what the D was back in the first scrimmage, so I'm not shocked T-Will is definitely laughing. That is a typical Crash Out response. It really is. Fishman says, screw it, sign Bobby to a 3-year deal with a bonus with bonus incentives and open the wallet for a top defensive coordinator. Oh Oh, man. Appreciate all the super chats tonight, guys. Please consider joining Patreon. Some of you guys sending these $5 super chats. You could have joined Patreon for $4. They need to put McCroy in place of Harris. Harris has struggled hard. He's never I've just never been impressed with Harris. He's talked up every single offseason. Every single offseason he's hyped up. Oh, he looks better. Oh, we're hearing good things about Harris. Let me see it first. Let me see it. Because he is just not – and, I mean, again, he beat out McCroy, so, I don't know, man. The problem with Bobby is he tries to recreate Lamar when he should be trying to recreate Tyler Wilson or Brandon Allen. Check down, timing guys stand in the pocket and can get yards with feet. Green seems like he's got a little bit of the case. You guys remember when Ryan Mallett would throw underneath those underneath routes and the receivers would complain about their hands feeling like they were broken? I kind of wonder if Green, it seems like he really tries to be super accurate and he grips the ball hard and just tries to throw it in there as hard as he can. I kind of wonder if he's suffering. The difference is Mallett would put the ball where they could catch it. They could catch those underneath throws. Green struggles in that department mightily. Hey, guys, make sure, again, you hit the like button, share the content, please. I hope I'm not just – let's not let that in one ear and out the other. Share the content. That little funny-looking arrow at the bottom of your screen, share it with somebody. Send it in a text message or something. I don't care. Share it on social media. Maybe he's one of those guys that does well in camp and at practice but chokes bad when it comes to the time. Yeah, I mean, and again, like I don't know what the coaches are seeing that we're all not – like what are we missing? Because he just – man. Ty, would you rather us keep Bobby after going 4-8 or let him go and end up losing in the coaching carousel because we can't afford anybody? Well, I don't know if it's a matter of being able to afford anybody, Judd. From what we understand, again, they're going to be competitive in the pay market. In the pay market, they're going to be competitive. So I don't know, Judd. I mean, again, it just depends on who you going to get, right? This team deserves so much more heart and courage, says AR. Well, I try not to bag on the defense too much. I mean, I know not all those guys are bad or I realize there are people that are trying on defense, but my God. Like, how is the defense this bad? Even before you fired their coaches. It's just embarrassing. Bro, can't be that bad all the time, and they are. It's like when they do actually get off the field. When the defense does actually get off the field, you're like, whoa. Oh, my God. They're punting? What? They're punting? What happened? And sometimes it's because of penalties, right? It's because of penalties. Like, they get bailed out from time to time. But, who doesn't, right? Everyone. God, the penalties tonight, too. Man, for Arkansas were just. Arkansas ran the ball for 268 yards. They had 200 yards in the first half. They had over 200 yards rushing in the first half. Whoo, boy, if A&M thinks they're a playoff team, and I know they're undefeated, but man. Now, again, I do think I got to tip the cap to the offense, man. The offense is that good. The Arkansas offense is that good. They are. And they're going to do that to everybody. They've outgained, like, everybody this year outside of Notre Dame. And yet they're 2-5. Oh, man, it's like a bad dream. 8.4 yards per carry for Arkansas. I mean, they're going to do that to everyone. I'm going to forecast for you how the rest of this year probably ends up, okay? Auburn, because of how mid that offense is, the defense might look a little bit better than what they have. Mississippi State, I don't know. I feel like Mississippi State It's like Mississippi State and Auburn are kind of like they're similar, right? Like the defense is going to look like maybe they're starting to figure it out, right? And hopefully they can build off that. And then you got Texas on the road. Maybe it's more of that. And then you hope you don't. And then you feel like Missouri probably racks up a whole bunch of offense. But let's be real. Everyone, Auburn, Mississippi State, LSU, Texas, and Missouri all look at Arkansas on their calendar and they go, well, that'll be a week we could put up points. And they're not wrong. But as Hog fans, what I'm saying, though, is that it's going to look like, oh, well, they didn't give up 40 points. They didn't give up 500 yards of offense. They must be figured something out. They actually got a sack or two. They actually got a few TFLs. They actually got a couple 3-and-outs. Oh, they're starting to look so much better. When in reality, we know what's really going on. These opposing offenses just, they're not very good. And yet they'll still have the best day of their season on offense against Arkansas. It sucks. And again, there's no help. There's no backup. There's no waiver. You can't go sign a couple free agents that are going to help you, right? There's nothing. You are just who you are. And right now it's about scheming. Maybe you make some personnel changes somewhere. Sorry. I thought actually, Sorry looked like he missed a couple, but he also made a couple pretty good plays. I think he had at least one, maybe two TFLs, maybe even had a pressure. I know they had at least one. I feel like they had at least one pressure, maybe two. They'll have maybe a couple of plays where you feel like, okay, this is it, man. They got it figured out. They're gonna let's do that again. 3rd and 15 in the opposing offense converts. 3rd and 12. Would love to see some 3-and-outs. That's just asking too much. A&M had scored on, let's see if we can count this down. 1, 2, 3, 4 of 5, 5 of 6, 6 of 7, 7 of 8, 7 of 8 drives they scored. I've got to be looking at that wrong. No, I mean, that would make sense, though. 45 points. And then the end of drive, of course, or the end of game, they had -2 yards, but, I mean, we know that was the end of the ball game. Arkansas in the second half was much better. I mean, they were a lot better. Other than that punt, they started off the third quarter with a punt, trailing 28-20, and we thought, well, this is it. A&M goes down the field, 9 plays, 73 yards, 4 minutes, 17 seconds off the clock. They get a field goal. Arkansas gets the ball back, 7 plays, 65 yards in 3 minutes, 17 seconds. A&M gets the ball back, and this is all in the third quarter. 9 plays, 75 yards. In the fourth quarter, Arkansas's opening drive, their first drive in the fourth quarter, 10 plays, 75 yards, 3 minutes, 55 seconds off the clock. A&M responds, 10 plays, 75 yards. Arkansas gets the ball back. They punt. The defense actually forces a punt. They get a 3-and-out. -8 yards on A&M. -8 yards. Now remember, they had a no-huddle shotgun. Marcel ran. He had that 57-yard run that got called back. And they ended up having to punt on that drive. That should have been a score. Arkansas kind of lucked out there. But then they respond. They go 93 yards. 12 plays, 93 yards for 3 minutes and 41 seconds. They get on the scoreboard, and they're up to 42 points. And obviously the onside doesn't work, and A&M's able to wrap it up. It feels like Arkansas, again, this offense is going to have success against everybody. All you need is for the defense to just be slightly below mediocre instead of, an absolute, I don't know. I want to say the least of, I had something very offensive come to mind. I'm not going to say it, but it's just a disaster. Just don't be a disaster. Defense, don't be a disaster. Just be, a couple steps above not being disastrous, right? And then you're going to win some games. You're going to win maybe a couple games. And then we get into the conversation after Missouri, obviously, what are we doing? What's Arkansas doing for a head coach? Have they already named a head coach by that point? Whoa, we got more super chats. Hold on, let me pull these up. Thank God for the fan funding thing here, because this is so much easier. I can remember back in the day, I had to scroll all the way up through all chat. Good Lord. I've been doing this for a while, y'all. T-Dub with a $10 super chat says, okay, I'll take all the heat, but Talon is an athlete, not a winner. His inability to make reads, I mean, it's hard to argue with that. Holding the ball, agreed. And turnovers negate his highs. Winners find a way to win. TG don't win. There, I said it. It's hard. I mean, it's a weird situation to be in, because he didn't turn the ball over today. He made a couple of misreads, and you're only in this game because of Talon Green. But then there's the other side of it, right? He can't win these games. And it doesn't help that his defense, lends him no hands. They do not help him on defense. So it's him versus it's him versus the world. And we want him to win these games for us. Find a way to win. And he's just not been able to do it. And that doesn't mean just a winning drive down the field. It doesn't just mean that. It means, not getting sacked and running backwards for negative 16 yards. It means not fumbling. It means not throwing picks, making big plays. And now third and long. Third and long, and this, as weird as this is to say, because we know he has a tendency to fumble or turn the ball over, third and long, I feel like he's probably going to convert. But then he doesn't do the rest of that. Then, last year the issue was they couldn't finish off drives with scoring. Now they are scoring. And then when he's got that big moment, when he's up to bat, he strikes out, turning the ball over or again, taking big sacks. And he did that tonight. He didn't turn the ball over, but he took crucial sacks. And it's just, I do think there is such a thing as having that winning gene. I think he's, like you said, T-Dub, and it's hard to disagree with that. He is an athlete. He might be typically one of the top 3 fastest guys on the field at any given point. He might be one of the top 3, top 4 fastest athletes, maybe sometimes the fastest depending on the opponent on the field. He is an athlete. We've seen him make plays with both his feet and his arm, especially on third and long. But again, there's that other side of it. Can you close the game out? Can you make those big plays? Can you not take sacks in big moments? And he just can't do it. And again, offensive line hasn't always been there for him. Tonight, it's hard to pin anything on him, really. I mean, he did everything he could. He left it all out on the field. Mad respect for Talon Green tonight. But he still took some big sacks, big yardage. He never takes a sack for -2. When does he ever do that? It's always for negative double digits or close to it. He just does things that guys with that winning gene don't do. They do the opposite. They either take a minimal sack or they get rid of the ball. They don't hesitate. When the pocket collapses, they know what to do in that given moment. They don't run around like a chicken with its head cut off just to get sacked for 16 yards. I mean, obviously that's being a bit dramatic, but T-Dub says also, of course, the D is garbage. Yeah, it is garbage. You're correct. There's just that winning gene. He just doesn't have it. It doesn't mean he's not a good player. It doesn't mean that he can't make big plays. And maybe, hell, he might be in a position to win the game for Arkansas. But how many times have we seen him take those big sacks, turn the ball over, and put Arkansas in a really tough situation? Maybe you can develop the gene. I don't know. I feel like when you're a senior, you kind of are who you are. But again, it's really hard to pin. Despite the sacks, I would not pin tonight on Talon Green, though. It's definitely the defense. 10,000% it's the defense. JD27 says defense has to make a play, but imagine what this team could have been with just a slightly better defense, especially defensive line. Imagine a defense that could force takeaways or turnovers. What is that like? Imagine for once you not being the team that turns the ball over. And again, I know tonight didn't happen. They didn't turn the ball over. But typically we know how these games usually go. 2, 3, 4 turnovers, right? 2, 3 at least. Imagine that being the other way around and you're actually winning turnover battles. And you start your defense actually gets a couple 3-and-outs in key moments. I feel like you'd have some more. You'd have at least 2 more wins under your belt this year, right? Maybe 3 more. I don't know. TG looked good to me this year. Besides the Memphis and Notre Dame game, he's played well enough for Arkansas to win. Yeah, and again, we're talking about having that winning gene. Oklahoma State happened last year. You could give him credit. I think obviously he did win you some games last year, but in big games, where you're going toe to toe with a pretty decent opponent. A&M last year, Texas last year. I mean, the list kind of goes on. He is certainly the reason why you've won games. But when we mean that winning gene, I think what Tim is saying, I agree with him. In games like this, where you're definitely the underdog, Green just does not have that. We're going to win, and I'm going to be the reason why against opponents like this. Tennessee, and you could kind of argue that Malachi should get some credit for that, but no doubt that Green and the defensive effort and the game plan was just fantastic. And again, I would argue you don't win the games you've won without Talon Green. But again, there's something different about these guys that have that, that have that gene about winning in the final minutes. Alabama pick off Aguilar twice now in the Tennessee red zone. Yeah, Alabama's taking care of business right now, 23-13 on Tennessee. Well, you love to see it. 11:02 left to play in the third quarter. It's currently 2nd down 2, Alabama with the ball. I can't see the yard line. It looks like they're inside their own 35. Oh, Tennessee got the stop, so it'll be 3rd down and 3, 3rd and 2. So we're about to end this bad boy. TG is decent, but when he makes a bad read after bad read over and over, it gets so old to watch, especially as an old quarterback. Says Curtis Johnson. T-Dub says Talon is not the reason we lost, but most importantly, he did not win it. He has not thrown the ball. He has not thrown the ball to so many open receivers. Yeah. Okay. Is TG the greatness? What? No. Oh, okay. Is he the greatest? No, but he's been good enough to win every single game this year besides the Notre Dame game. Yeah. I mean, that's a fair statement, but we've also, when you combine last year, when we're talking about just having that, right, combined with last year and this year, winning games like this are just not, it's just not something he does. Yeah, Hoyt, listen, Hoyt, I see your point. Yes, he is 1 of 11. It's a team sport. But let's not act like there's not a difference in quarterbacks at all levels. You look at the pros, there's a difference between, certain quarterbacks. And I think that is fair to say, even at the college level. I see what you're saying, but we have seen him make bad read after bad read. We've seen him take sacks. Instead of a few yards lost, we've seen 10, 12, 13 yards lost. Or maybe not, a big amount, a big chunk amount of yards lost. Again, I'm not trying to bag on Green. I think Green, remember, I also said coming into the year, he's a draftable quarterback, and I stand by that. I think he still is a draftable quarterback. I just don't think he's got that it's just not in his DNA to win these kind of clutch games. I mean, the history is there. We've seen it. I mean, we've seen it time and time and time again. Tonight, he took some crucial sacks that kept you from winning this game. And that's the point that T-Dub's making, and I agree with it. But also, he's good enough. He's going to keep you in these games. He's going to put this team on his shoulders. Very Matt Jones-like, actually, where, he's the only piece of that offense. Now, he's surrounded with better talent than Jones was, if you want to talk, skill position players from running backs to receivers. And he had some good running backs, actually, during his time. But, I feel like Green he's in a better offense. Petrino calling the plays, one of the top offensive minds in college football. And I think the world of Green. I really do. And I think he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks that's going to go into this draft. But that's okay. And to say that he just doesn't have that gene to win these kind of games, I don't think I'm in the minority in saying that. I don't think Tim and I are in the minority in saying that. But he could still be a good quarterback and just not have that clutch gene, that ability to win these games, put the game really on his shoulders in the end and find a way to win it. Ron Rogers says you have to spend at least $25 million on a roster to compete for a natty. I don't know that I buy the $16.5 million for Arkansas for this roster. I don't know that I buy that. And again, where did it all go? Did it just go to a handful of players on offense? Because I don't know what the hell they're doing on defense. Devin Anderson said, "Don't forget the 20-yard loss on a sack tonight." I'll say this: his decision making as a passer is crisper. He is actually hitting players in stride this year. He's finding open receivers. Like, he is a better quarterback compared to what he was a year ago, and he is one of the most underrated, maybe not even just quarterbacks, but players in the country. But he's still. Then there's this other side of him where he just makes some bonehead mistakes. That's all. Let's see. Is it okay to say TG doesn't have that clutch go win gene? Most players don't at the exactly. Most players don't, and that's fine. Anyways, is A&M or Ole Miss or even wait. Is A&M or Ole Miss or even Georgia defense any good? Got a lot of questions about some teams on defense this year. There's no doubt. There's some questions about some of the defenses this year may not be as good as we thought. But then you got teams like, Missouri's pretty balanced. Missouri and you talk about all defense. Missouri and Auburn right now 10-7. Demolition Derb. Oh, man. Enjoy that timeout, buddy. Hope you like that. We will be better. Curtis Johnson says we will be better when we have a different defense and different quarterback. I don't know what you mean by that. Are you saying like KJ Jackson's better? I mean, Jackson's going to be good, but he's still cooking in the oven. KJ Jackson's going to be good, but he's still in the oven. Green's your best chance to win games. There's no doubt. Kane Archer, come to Fayetteville. I think he's a competitor. I think Kane Archer's a hell of a competitor. Pretty sure this is the worst defense I've seen on any level of football. It is really bad, and it feels like we're just beating down on the defense, but it's just so true and it's just so accurate. Like there's no other way to put it. Hey, by the way, shout out to Patreon supporters. October going to be a good one for cards, for the card giveaway for Patreon supporters. Got some really good cards, and we're also staying on top of all the coaching rumors and everything we can get our hands on. Ty, if we keep Bobby Petrino, does he go out and go after a top portal quarterback? I have a sneaking suspicion if they keep BP. I think that's a good question. They like KJ Jackson a ton. I know that much. But is he going to be the guy next year? I don't know. If you feel like you can go and get someone better out of the portal, you probably go that route, right? Like if you feel like you've got the money and you go after a top dog out of the portal, then you might go that route. I hate to see that though, because I kind of want to see KJ Jackson a little more. We got to see him tonight a little bit. We got to see him just a little bit tonight. 1 for 1 for 3 yards. Once again, Arkansas outgains on offense and still loses because, their defense is booty cheeks. A solid defense can make a mid-quarterback look amazing by covering up for their mistakes. We haven't had a defense take the field, we haven't had a defense take the field from 1.5 seasons. Says T-Dub. We could not stop Elkins High School. Our defense is so bad, says Mark T. I have a feeling Mark T lives in Elkins because that's a highly specific high school. Or maybe you played ball at Elkins or something. I mentioned Fayetteville because that's where the U of A. I mean, it's right there next to the U of A. No bias involved whatsoever because I went to Fayetteville. All right. Again, shout out to Patreon supporters. I appreciate you guys. Please consider signing up. You're helping to keep the lights on in this place. Really do appreciate you. Yeah, shout out to Direct Service Overhead. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than the best. Better than the best. Affordable outcomes, quality parts, free estimates, 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Long-time sponsor of the Tusk Talk with Ty show, even back when we were PTN. All them years ago. Maybe BP should have our defense running technique drills and conditioning with Fayetteville High. I don't know. Got to get it figured out. Again, I think you are just who you are on defense. There's no help. There's no help on the way for the defense. It's just not coming. So you are who you are. All you can do is hope to scheme around some of your weaknesses. Hopefully you play. And again, you got some pretty bad offenses coming up, so that'll maybe kind of help make you look not so garbage on offense, but you're or on defense rather. But your offense is they got some pretty tough defenses coming up. So we'll be back on Monday, 6:30 p.m. Monday Night Lights, baby. We'll be back right here on Tusk Talk with Ty, YouTube. Can't wait. We're gonna. Oh man, I think we're gonna go ahead and predict the basketball season on Monday. I think we're gonna do that because I don't know how you're not hyped for Hog Hoops. Oh my goodness, it's so close, baby. It's so close. Cincinnati exhibition is around the corner. Friday, October 24th, Cincinnati, 7 p.m. And then you turn around and you got Memphis on an exhibition that'll be at Memphis at the FedEx Forum. Two really fascinating exhibitions. Again, win or lose doesn't matter. It's just about seeing the roster and the rotation. Now that they finally get to play someone other than, someone else in a Razorback jersey, I'm so excited. I do wish the 24th was – I wish that was game week, like officially like a regular season game. We're getting there, though. November 3rd, Southern. That'll be a Monday, November 3rd, 6 p.m. against Southern in Bud Walton Arena. Oh, man. I might be doing 2 shows. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. We might do what we've always done, which is just treat the post-game as like a Monday night show after the basketball game's over. And then that same week, you get a few. Well, I say the same week. That following Saturday, you don't play again until Saturday, November 8th, which will be at East Lansing at Michigan State. So, all right. Is the Cincy game on TV or stream? I think it's SEC Network Plus. I'm pretty sure. And then Memphis is. I think it's on. Isn't that on one of the ESPN? Is it on the Ocho? Does it come on? Does it come on after Dodgeball? Did you guys see that? They moved us over to ESPN News tonight. We got to watch. We got to watch a little Dodgeball tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed that. But I think it's on one of those channels. The Memphis game is. So I'm pretty sure we'll have some access to these exhibition games. Southern will be on the main SEC Network channel. And then you play Michigan State. I had that noted. Maybe I should pull the rest of the schedule up here. There it is. At Michigan State, 6 p.m. on Fox. That'll be weird, watching Arkansas play on Fox. All right, that's it. I appreciate you all. You're great. Please, again, consider joining Patreon. Let's end the poll. Yeah, 77%. Petrino is still in the running for head coach based off a whole bunch of votes. 77%. There you have it. Okay. Awesome. I think you're right. He's still in the running. I agree. Okay, we'll be back Monday Night Lights right here. Make sure you hit the notification bell for all announcements so that way you don't miss the show. You can be here live and I could read your funny comments. Even the goofy ones that get you timed out. Well, I didn't read his tonight because that was a stupid comment. All right, you guys. Appreciate you, and I'll see you on Monday. Tough loss. But not a surprising one. All right, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Why isn't it playing? What's going on? My Patreon scroll's not playing. What's going on? It's broken. It's not playing. What is going on? This is slightly awkward. Hey, I found it. Yay!